just be grateful. You know, just be grateful for what you have. Do you like hearing that? Especially when you got already a lot of things going on with you, with your life. You're struggling with things. Do you think it helps when someone tells you to just be grateful? It makes you think, or do I have the right to complain about going through this? You can't just forget the things you're going through just because someone tells you to just be grateful, to be happy for what you already have. It doesn't work that way. You know? We've all heard that advice, you know? Just be grateful for what you have. But let's be honest. When you're stressed, tired, or feeling like everyone else is winning while you're stuck on a slump, you feel like you're going backwards instead of forwards. That advice, it's so annoying to hear. So, here's why gratitude isn't about ignoring the bad stuff. It's actually a psychological superpower. Now, let's identify the psychological trap. There's this trap when you, let's say, there's this something you want. Like, let's say, I'll be happy. When you start to say that, I'll be happy when, for example, I get good grades. I get into this club I'm trying to join in, this organization I'm trying to join in. When I achieve this higher status in something that I'm working on. It's like you're attaching your gratitude and your happiness onto that factor, onto that thing. So what happens when you don't get to achieve it? You feel like you have no right to be happy. You have nothing to be grateful for. Hedonic adaptation. That is a scientific term for how quickly we get used to things we once desperately wanted. Because here's the thing, if you can't appreciate what you have right now, what makes you think you'll appreciate what you'll get later? Think about that. Because if you really think about it, looking back, there are some things that you have right now that you wish you had back then. Let's say you have a laptop. I have a laptop right now, right here. It's right there in my desk. A few years ago, I wanted a laptop because I wanted to be able to work on things that I actually want to work on. And I needed a laptop to do that. Now that I have a laptop, it's harder for me to think for a moment and be grateful that I actually do have a laptop. Because I already got used to having one. I am working day by day using that. So what makes you think that when there's this something that you want, what makes you say that you'll be grateful for it once you got used to already having it? The baseline, it doesn't change. Your mindset does. Now come with me here for a moment. Active versus passive gratitude. The goal here is to shift your gratefulness from just a vague feeling to a deliberate action. Okay, stick with me here for a moment. Passive gratitude is waiting for something amazing to happen just to feel good. Who doesn't feel good when things are going great? When there's something that happened that we know to ourselves that we wanted to happen, that we wanted to get. Active gratitude is training your brain to notice the micro wins that are already happening in the background. It's a lens, not a reaction. You change your perspective. Can you see where I'm going with this one? Because think about it, when you think about those small wins, no matter how small they are, you have to be really specific about it. When you start looking at those, it changes the way you think. You pause for a moment, damn. Maybe it wasn't really that bad after all. Maybe there's things that I should actually be grateful for instead of complaining about it. Now, I'm not here to discredit or dismiss, invalidate what you're feeling if you're going through something. I'm not gonna join those people who tell you to be grateful and to be happy for what you already have when they hear that you're going through something. It doesn't work that way. I literally started the video telling you about that. I don't rock that way, and no one should. You don't tell someone to just be grateful for what they have. Just because they're going through something. It's way deeper than that. There needs to be some action done. And that action here is practicing gratitude in a much healthier way. Not that way where you just get told to be grateful. How do you think that helps? No, it doesn't. It does the opposite. It makes it even worse. Because now it adds to the person's mind. They start to think. They start to even invalidate what they're feeling, what they're going through. Just because someone told them to be grateful. It makes them think. They invalidate what they're feeling because maybe they feel like they don't even have the right to feel that way. Now I'll give you an actionable framework that I apply to myself, that I try to apply to myself. I'm not a consistent journal guy, but I do journal, and for this month alone I've actually been really consistent, and I want to keep that and also enhance how I do it, and that is through adding a gratitude audit. You start listing stuff down, but don't list down stuff like, I'm grateful for being able to eat today, for my friends, for my family. Be specific. Think. You're not here to be thankful for the vague stuff. Because if you really think about it, you really won't feel it unless you do try it. List it down. Be specific. Ultra specific. Who cares? You're not broadcasting it to the world. You're just auditing it to yourself. You're making yourself realize there are a lot of things that I should be grateful for. A lot of things that I'm missing out, that I'm not looking into that much, that I'm overlooking. Instead of saying I'm grateful for friends, for my friends, pick an exact moment from that day, from the past week. I'm grateful for this exact text message my friend sent me yesterday when I was stressed. Don't just say I'm grateful for my friends. You can have that, or something like I'm grateful that my friend went with me to eat lunch today at school. It feels great thinking about it that way, right? Because when you just say I'm grateful for my friends, when you look back at that list, it makes you think, why was I grateful for my friends? There's a ton of reasons. But when you see a list of specific reasons, it does something else, something greater. And next one, this is more common. Change your vocabulary for daily obligations. You have to study. You have to go to practice, to training. You have to clean your space. Change it from I have to I get to. You get to study. Not a lot of people get to study. There are kids out there in the streets. They don't have any education because they can't afford it. You get to practice. You have a varsity team, a sports team, you're an athlete, or you're a singer, you're a performer, you're an artist, but you're complaining about having to practice. You get to practice. There are people out there who don't get that opportunity, and it's not your fault. I'm not discrediting what you're feeling, but think about it. When we really look at those aspects, it makes us think. You get to clean your space. You have a space. You get to have a space to clean, a room to clean, a house to clean. There are people out there in the streets once again. You have the health, the opportunity, and the capability to do all these. It makes you think about those people who don't get these. You put yourself in their shoes. What would I feel if I were in their shoes? There are people out there so desperately needing what you have. The things that you have. There's a kid out there that would give anything to get that. Now the last one, the past self reminder. Look back at where you were 1 or 2 years ago. Where you were 1 or 2 years ago. Remember a time when you were praying for, working towards this thing, or stressing about the very things you currently possess right now. The laptop that I talked about earlier, that is precisely an example of this. This room that I have right now. I had my dad built almost everything in this room. And I've been sleeping here for quite some time now. I've been staying here for quite some time now. But sometimes I forget to stop and think. I've been praying for this room. I remember 2-3 years ago when I was thinking of, damn, I'm gonna do this when I have a room. I'm gonna have this when I have a room. I'm gonna paint the walls like this, have a poster up there, display cars here, have a shelf here. Now I have the room, and every single thing that I mentioned, I have now in this room. I'm saying that gratitude doesn't mean that your life is perfect, that you have to see your life that it is perfect. It just means you get to recognize that the good parts are worth noticing. Sometimes when things, the ugly things, the bad things, they tend to engulf the good things that are happening. It's the harsh truth, but sometimes that's what really happens. There could be a lot of good in something, and one bad thing, it gets to erase a whole list of good things. What does that say about things? About our society? That aspect isn't just here for gratefulness, for gratitude. It extends to many other aspects, but it gets to seep into this topic. Now, before we end, I would like to mention this one TikTok that I saw a few weeks ago or a week ago. It's a video of a man. He isn't crying, but he looks frustrated. I'll put it up here in here. It says, "My family drank all of the apple juice that I bought today. I'm not mad. I'm thankful that I have a family." I won't be saying too much. I will let you meditate and think about what I just said, about what this video right here, the video shown right here, was about. Perspectives. You get to shift your perspectives, and suddenly your mind's completely new. I've been an advocate of gratitude for quite some time now. I ride my car to school. My mom drives me to school. When I get home, I see people in the streets begging for money. It's those kinds of situations. I'm not belittling those people, but sometimes it reminds me to try to put myself in their shoes and see life from their lens, my life from their lens. I'm the one inside the car. They're the ones outside begging for money. Again, this isn't something to invalidate the things you're struggling about. You're completely allowed to feel those. But give it a try to see what gratitude, looking at the things that are worth noticing, and see if that helps. Because sometimes there are more than just talking to people, asking for advice to people. This one helps. It's an underrated feature that we could use to help us out. Now, before we end, I quite yapped a lot in this one, but to kickstart that gratitude right now, I want you guys to put down a comment, interact with the video, drop one highly specific thing we're grateful for today, this day that you watch this video. Drop one highly specific thing. Very specific. Be very specific. I wouldn't mind. I would love to hear them. And I would love this video to be a chamber where you get to come back and listen and to see those stuff that you listed, that stuff that you listed. You can list more than just one. You're completely allowed to. Let's flood the comment sections with it. I would love to hear them. That is all for tonight, and I'll try to upload more with this. I'm starting to get comfortable in this format, so I'll be dropping more of these. Hopefully one more before the weekends, but no promises. But sure enough, 2 to 3 videos every week I'll try to. Thank you guys for watching. I love you all.